Yeah, the fight you witnessed, obviously, it was more than this, and it happened at the headquarters, just like I said, of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, where the meeting of the party's board of trustees was ongoing at the time. The two officers of the party, Sunday Udo Okoye, by the way, Ude Okoye was ejected from that meeting, and you could see the violent nature of that altercation. Samuel Anyao and Ude Okoye are the ones fighting over the position of the National Secretary of the party. But when we say it is more than that, it's not just about this position. Maybe the People's Democratic Party is about to implode, and they are losing it because many persons are having issues with them that you are supposed to provide leadership as far as opposition politics is concerned, putting the party in power on their toes to do well for the citizens of this nation. But alas, that is not the case. We have been joined, this morning by a chieftain of that party who joins us virtually today. He was a former publicity secretary for the People's Democratic Party in the Southwest, Mr. Ayo Fadaka. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Great to be on your channel this morning.
All right, thank you. Your party, the PDP, are you about to implode, or the party has imploded already?
No, we are not imploding at all. The current crisis we have will certainly be sorted out in good enough time. The PDP is a very, very big party with lots of internal mechanisms that are designed to arrest this kind of situation. By the way, let me begin by saying that there are about 2 or 3 classes of politicians that we have in politics. The people we have in politics. Those who volunteer to be of service through partisan politicking, and those who are occupational, would only play politics with a view to making profit from it. It is this class of profiteers in politics that are the problems we have in Nigerian politics today. They are the ones that you see moving from one party to the other. Once one party loses power and another gains it. They are the ones that will do anything or everything to be in positions of privilege. And it might interest you to know that many of them that have occupied these positions are incompetent and not adequately equipped to discharge effectively on those positions, but they still want to be there. We have a good number of that class in all the political parties, and it is that class of politicians that are now plaguing the PDP. They are the ones that are causing one crisis or the other. The battle over the national secretaryship of the party is a battle that should not be there in the very first instance. The constitution of the party is clear that when you want to contest any election whatsoever and you are a serving officer of the party, you must resign. That's what the constitution says. And this fellow that is holding on to the position of the secretary resigned to go and contest for the governorship of Imo State.
Which of them?
That's Anyanwu. He resigned to go and contest for the governorship of Imo State. While he was away, the deputy national secretary was holding forth, while the southeast, the zone that produced the secretary, met and said Ude Okoye forward to become the secretary of the party. As it happened, Anyanwu lost the governorship election, and he made a curious re-entry into the national secretariat of the party. Of course, the matter went to court, and there have been resolutions of there have been judgments from the court as to who should be secretary. But because we have a number of irregularities going on at the National Working Committee of the party today, it was possible for Anyanwu to make a claim and hold down the position of the secretary. And it shouldn't have been so. It has never been so before. You know, those are the occupational politicians that are plaguing the PDP today. And without any fear of even without any fear of a reprimand, the acting national chairman too is in the same class with Anyanwu. The constitution of the party says that when there's a vacancy in a position, and so like somebody leaves a position, the zone, the area from which the departing officer of the party comes from is asked by the constitution to nominate a replacement for that person. And all this has to be done within 90 days. But what do we have? The fellow that is acting national chairman today, having a person like Anyanwu as his secretary, they have both decided to rape the constitution of the party towards enhancing their personal aggrandizement. That is the unfortunate thing.
All right.
They are the problems.
All right. And, you know, you just spoke about irregularities at the national headquarters of the party. And we spoke about how culpable the national chairman, the acting national chairman, Mr. Damagum, is on this matter. Let me ask you, as a chieftain of that party, you've held positions in different capacities. Are you embarrassed that PDP that was in power for 16 years, even though they wanted to be more in power, stay more in power, that many persons are looking to provide leadership as far as opposition politics is concerned, are the ones that have been enmeshed in this? By the way, they are almost missing in action as far as opposition politics, because their own party's problem is from one problem to another, you know. And are you embarrassed that this is what has become of your PDP?
Yes, I am. To say I am not is to deny it. I'm not just fact. Yes, we should be playing the opposition party role very, very trainedly. Unfortunately, we are not. And a party that I consider a minnow, that is the Labour Party, at the time stepped in to discharge their responsibility. Looks like that one too is already flunking out now. But I tell you, the problem we have in PDP today will be resolved in no distant time. You will know that yesterday the BOT met and they insisted that the National Executive Committee meeting of the party must hold. And once we are able to get the National Executive Committee of the party meeting to hold, and trusting that people will do what they have to do, we should have a little reprimand. We should have a little development from the malady that currently is afloat at the National Secretariat. One, the National Executive Committee of the party is the second highest decision-making organ of the party. We believe that they should be able to tell the acting national chairman that it is indeed time for him to revert to his position as deputy national chairman and allow the North Central zone of the party to bring in a nomination for the national chairmanship position. And we expect that we should be having a quality person that will occupy that position, that will be desirous to see the party rise again and begin to reinvigorate the party again. The problems in the PDP today are very temporary. I tell you, those problems will disappear.
Mr. Fadaka, it has spanned more than a year. In fact, before the election, it was the G5 not supporting the presidential candidate. And since the election finished, it's been from one problem to the other. You are saying it will be resolved almost 20 months after election. You are still enmeshed in this.
If only you wait, you are waiting for me.
Okay, please.
The crisis will disappear once we have a proper national chairman who, I believe, will make the reinvigoration of the party a task that he must accomplish. The man that is acting national chairman is ready to do anything to prolong his illegal stay in the office. You will see that he has used that position here, and his secretary, the national secretary, they have used that position to forestall the quarterly meeting of the National Executive Committee of the meeting. You know, and this is because they know that if that meeting holds, they may be shown the way out of their positions. But now, as it is, they committed themselves to holding the meeting in February. And hopefully, if that meeting holds, the National Executive Committee of the party should be able to provide a direction that the party will do in the next few weeks or months to come. So for me, the PDP has always gone through one crisis or the other, even when we were in government. There's always been one crisis or the other that have always been resolved positively at the end of the day. And this will not be an exception.
So, sir, you don't actually agree with the acting chairman, Damagun, that said that the crisis within the PDP is... Sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay, I said you don't actually...
I never knew there's a...
Yeah, all right. Please go ahead.
You don't actually agree with the acting chairman, Damagun, that said that the crisis within the PDP is as a result of unnamed leaders of the party.
He is the #1 crisis with the party. Those unnamed leaders he was trying to are those that are telling him to descend from his from the position of the acting national chairman and revert to his original position. Those are those unnamed leaders he's talking about are those that are criticizing him for not allowing the National Executive Committee meeting to hold. Those it seems to be laying the crisis at their doorsteps are those that are insisting that the right things must be done. As far as I care and as far as I know, he is the #1 crisis of the party.
So this crisis that has been around his position as the acting chairman of the PDP, what exactly is wrong with him being the acting chairman?
He contested to be deputy national chairman. You know, in PDP, we are the father of zoning. We zone positions to every section of the country. Damagun contested to be national chairman, while Yosha Ayu, the middle past national chairman, was chairman. Ayu came from the North Central Zone, and while Damagun is from, I think, Northeast. Now, with his holding down the position, he's denied the North Central Zone the opportunity to serve out his tenure for the national chairmanship position. So, as far as I care and I know, Damagun is the #1 crisis of the party as we speak now. There are people in the National Executive Committee, the National Working Committee of the party today that do not want to accept what he's doing, and they are taking actions against him. And I can tell you that there's a division in the National Working Committee of the party. Those that are saying the proper things must be done, and he and Danyawu, who the court has said that has no business remaining the secretary of the party a minute longer, they are the ones that are causing the crisis that we have in our party today. And God willing, we will see their back in this crisis.
Interesting one there. Recently, Mr. Fadaka, former governor of Kaduna State, two-time governor Nasir El-Rufai spoke. That was earlier this week, like 2-3 days ago. And he spoke about democracy, strengthened democracy, and all of those things at a function. And, you know, he gave his opinion at that meeting about his own party, where he said he can't recognize the APC that he helped to start again, but that on one side. Then he now spoke about opposition politics and said maybe the opposition is being weakened by the party and the government in power. In fact, he said there are internal mercenaries in the PDP hired and motivated to destroy the party. You know, and he spoke about the Labour Party as well, that Labour Party is also facing similar issues. You said it as well. Peter Obi himself told me, I don't know what is happening in the party I contested with. Do you agree with his positions that maybe there might be moles and mercenaries in your party that have the responsibility, or that have been saddled with the responsibility of weakening and destroying your party from the ruling party, the APC?
Yes, I readily agree to that.
Okay, we'll try and reconnect with Mr. Fadaka on this matter, because Nasir, by the way, is getting his sticks already. you trust that the people in power will not just stand down and look at him. All right, Mr. Fadaka, can you hear us?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
I agree absolutely with El-Rufai in his assessment and declarations. Of course, I'm able to say again that yes, on Wike is a destabilizing factor in our party. And again, I bemoan the elite recruitment policy of the elite recruitment program in Nigerian politics. I have taken my time always to listen to Nyesom Wike whenever he speaks. With due apologies and respect to him, I struggle to get content. These are the kind of people that are sitting at top of issues in our nation today. The crisis in Rivers State is a crisis that should not be there in the first instance. And if the party at the national level has been sitting properly, the leverage that Wike has in Rivers should not have been there. Today, it is being said that Wike controls both the PDP and the APC in Rivers State. And if that is so, then you cannot say that El-Rufai does not know what he's saying. However, I want to say again that today is the PDP's crisis. The APC is going to suffer a bigger crisis any time from now.
All right.
If El-Rufai is saying that he no longer recognizes the party he helped to form, please know that it's already in reverse gear.
By the way, many persons are already saying that maybe the man is saying that because he's not part of his administration, or he's bitter, or the way he was shown out because his ministerial screening didn't go the way he would have loved, is what is still making him, because even a former presidential spokesperson, or the presidential candidates of your party, Atiku Abubakar, the person who spoke for him at that time at the campaigns, Daniel Bwala, who has switched now to be the presidential spokesman, one of the aides of the president, has said, will you have said it if actually you are in power? And, suggesting that whatever El-Rufai is saying should not really be taken seriously possibly it's just one bitter man who is not part of this administration. And that's on one side. To say, Mr. Fadaka, that blaming the party in power, how responsible of a party will PDP be for you to say the APC is the one weakening your party? By the way, you don't expect the APC or any party in power to strengthen the opposition. They will do everything to stay, over and above. And if you are going to, by the way, Segun Showumi, I'm sure you know him, has spoken about this matter and say Tinubu is the problem of the PDP. And many persons laughed at him to say, are you serious? What kind of a party blames the other party to be the problem of their own party? You mentioned the issue of Nyesom Wike. Is Nyesom Wike, Mr. Fadaka, too big to be expelled from your party? Because the man has been daring your party. He said, let them come at me. If they are fit, expel me. And you have not been able to. It's bigger than your party, isn't it?
Well, first and foremost, we like a situation whereby people that are credible are quoted on issues like this.
How do you mean?
Not transactional politicians like Wala, and not people without scruples, those who change political parties the way they change their shirts, and not credible people whose opinion should be taken serious in this matter. Of course, he's a mercenary, and his current job is to maul down whoever speaks against his master. I used to remember that there was a record label that was known in the days of old as his master's voice. So, transactional positions like Boala's opinions should not be bandied around. He's picking for his meal.
Mr. Fadaka, he spoke for a presidential candidate at the last election.
Yes, that was a mistake Atiku made. Because he actually came from APC, and before we knew it, Atiku overlooked people like me that have been entrenched in developing the corporate profile of the party, took a mercenary and made him his spokesperson. I am sure that if the opportunity arises again for Atiku, it will look much deeper before it picks people that would prosecute his ambition. So that was Atiku's mistake, and it's great to see that he should be licking his wounds as far as that matter is concerned. Then about El-Rufai, El-Rufai is already a factor in Nigerian politics. He might not be much of a what do you call it now? It might not be much of a grand war. A politician that moves around the country doing mobilizing, but he is an intellectual in politics. He already cut a niche for himself. So when Rufai speaks, you will know that ideas abound in whatever he says. The Boala cannot take the sail out of whatever Rufai says. So he speaks for himself, and he is deceiving himself and those he's working for. People like Rufai that are disenchanted with APC today will certainly make a move to see to the end of APC in a matter of time.
Do you think that's what he's doing now?
It will begin. He's not speaking with me. It will begin. It's dialectical.
Somebody like Segun Showumi, he was a former gubernatorial candidate in Ogun State. He has been speaking at the national level, has said the APC, in fact, President Tinubu is the problem of the PDP. One would say, is that not laughable? Is he supposed to be your friend?
Well, Showumi is entitled to his opinions. He's entitled to his opinions. And let me say this. Of course, I know President Tinubu one-on-one. I have had meetings with him before, and I know he's a strategic politician. I know it is in his place to weaken whatever opposition that may come up against him in the next election. So he's welcome to doing what he can do in that respect. It is for us to resist that kind of attitude, and resisting we will begin to do soon. We only need to take out the moles in our party, those that are not serving the party sincerely, forthrightly, and faithfully. They have to be removed from positions that gives them the muzzle to so do. And once that is done, we see the PDP rise again. Let me not say more than that for now.
Mr. Fadaka, I'll come from the question my colleague asked, which you didn't actually answer, about Nyesom Wike. Now, aside that, I want to come generally also and say that, do you have rules in the PDP that can actually remove these elements that are causing internal crisis in the party?
Of course, yes, of course. Wike, I mean, there is no point trying to hide behind a finger at this time, at this period. Wike can do what he's doing because I suspect that he has some people at the National Working Committee of the party in his pocket. And so that I don't put your station and myself in trouble, let me not mention names now. He has some people in his pocket, but those people will soon be removed from those positions of responsibility.
Well, we are speaking publicly. You are at liberty to mention names, because one would say it seems Mr. Damagui himself is in alignment with Mr. Wike and they are working together. Would that be a no?
That is an absolute yes. That's an absolute yes. That is the force. That is the force that does not want the National Executive Committee of the party to meet. Soon that will be taken care of. I am trusting that when eventually the National Executive Committee of the party means that they will do the right thing.
So what is the guarantee that when this next meeting holds, that they will be able to actually put things right, with especially related to Damagun's position as the acting chairman of the PDP?
Will he even hold? That's the question, because it has been postponed like forever.
So severally. I think they've been bossed to a corner now that they do not have a choice than to ensure that it holds. And once that is done, I may boast to say that I expect that positive changes will begin to happen. I know the North Central is going to make a serious representation at that meeting that they deserve to have their national chairmanship slot given back to them. And I'm sure that will be done.
Do they already have someone on ground as a representative from the North Central for that position?
Well, I'm not from the North Central. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they should have. Like the Northeast picked Ude Okoye to be National Secretary when Anya will resign. It's a position that Anya will still withstanding today. So I know the North Central will come up with their position that they want that position back, and I'm sure the party will apply to them.
Interesting. You made mention of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, the kind of person, politician that he was and he is, somebody who will weaken the opposition, and it appears that is working, because the PDP appears weakened, apart from the weaker factor, who has stood in between two parties, is working for an APC government, is standing firm. Asked a question the other time: is it too big for your party to ask?
The party will eventually discipline all 50 columnists when the right things are done.
Okay, so basically,
basically, all those that are doing anti-party today will one day be disciplined for it.
So we're actually hanging everything on the fact that the acting chairman is the one holding the internal crisis of the party.
Well, it was one of the factors of the crisis the party has today. He's sitting in that position for too long, runs contrary to the constitution of the party, which says that it could have only been on that position for just 90 days. It has never been like this in the party. And that is true.
All right. Mr. Fadaka, one would say some of these issues, apart from the issues at the Secretariat, you have some big wigs, Bala Mohammed, versus Yakubu Dogara, and then there is the Wike factor as well in all of these. You have your governors already. I mean, some of your governors, it appears they have been quiet. The PDP Governors Forum used to be very vocal and powerful in the past. It seems everybody is just minding his business right now. This is not the PDP we know.
You must have had Governor Bala Mohammed within the last 1 week or thereabout. Bala Mohammed remains the chairman of the Governors Forum for now, and in every political forum, in every political setting, they have the ways of doing their things. So I'm sure the Governors Forum does not like what is currently happening, and they have their way of tackling this matter. Good enough today, nobody is saying that the Governors Forum PDP is divided. It still remains a united team. Together, we help the party in overcoming this.
Yeah. One will say, as we round off now, that we've had some off-season election, off-cycle election, and you have lost virtually all in Edo State, Ondo State. Osun is next in 2026. Are you bothered that you are losing the group? I mean, the grip rather, and that the implosion we are talking about might finally be completed when you lose almost all these key states?
Well, I am bothered, not because we lose. I am bothered about the kind of democracy we practice in Nigeria. I went to monitor the Edo election. APC did not win that election. The PDP won in 2 senatorial districts. When APC discovered that the PDP has won in 2 senatorial districts, they went to the 3rd senatorial district. They now pick specific local governments there where they raped the results of the election. You know what they did? They used a particular deputy commissioner of police to remove collation from the designated places, which in itself is criminal action, to the INEC secretariat. And once the result got to INEC secretariat, the debauchery began. The tilling was done, and they said they won the election, I think, with about less than 1,000 votes. So as far as balloting in Edo was concerned on that day, the APC lost. It is just a stealing party. They know how to steal votes.
How about now, Ondo State? Your Ondo State?
Wait for me. Now in Ondo, on election day, they deployed about 6 million naira every polling unit to buy votes. And even in spite of that, the result that came from all the polling units was altered. And you see, by the time we begin our case at the tribunal, you will see, people will get to know what I'm saying. We have decided not to talk on this matter. I can tell you that in some particular polling units, there are 3 levels of results, 3 different results, and they were picking the ones that the party agents are holding is invariably different from what is inputted into the INEC collation. You will remember that before the election, I shouted myself for us that INEC is compromised, that INEC is destroying our electoral system. And that was exactly what happened. My only problem is that, like I said the other time, the early recruitment system in this country is faulty. It is unpatriotic for people, for Mr. President particularly, to begin to recruit people who are partisan, people who lack character to man credible institutions like INEC. You deny them credibility.
Permit me to butt in, Mr. Fataga, sorry, because of time, because the next 2-3 minutes we are rounding off. You have spoken about Edo and Ondo, although in Ondo State many persons will say maybe the PDP doesn't really stand a chance, you know. By the way, you said 6 million. Sorry, sir. You said 6 million. Yeah, you will respond, sir. You said 6 million. I was, you know, prepared per polling booth. But some of the observers said, even in Edo, that it was a war of the highest bidder. If
we didn't spend that kind of money here,
maybe because you didn't have that kind of money, maybe you two could have won.
Well, nothing should justify the wholesale of bribery on election day. It is killing our democracy. It is killing our nation. It ensures that people who are not qualified to rule gets to positions. It even makes it possible for a criminal who can get to steal money anywhere from anyhow to acquire political positions. And what becomes of the system when criminals sit atop of public positions?
All right, sir. I have one more question, and my colleague has one. Osun is next in 2026. Governor Ademola Adeleke is the one here superintending the affairs of the state, and he and Governor Seyi Makinde are the only two PDP governors in the southwest. Do you fear that possibly it might not be returned if he chose to run? Because in the APC, you have the national secretary of the party, Ajibola Bashiru, quite a force. You have the former governor, who is still a minister, quite a force. Do you fear for the position of Ademola Adeleke if he decides to run?
Well, Ademola Adeleke himself is a force. The PDP in Osun State is a force. The minister you just mentioned was a sitting force when Adeleke defeated him. The PDP in Osun State knows what to do, and they will get the support of all of us from outside Osun State to ensure that Ademola Adeleke returns as governor of Osun State again. Okay. You see, we have seen all the way that APC are. I am sure, and I'm able to tell you, that every one of their plans for the Osun election will be a step ahead of them. Okay. It will be a step ahead of them, and we will frustrate it.
Right. Okay, Mr. Fadika, do you see PDP coming back, taking the reins of power by 2027 at the national level alone, or they need a coalition?
Well, the politicking is about alignment and realignment. Of course, there will be realignments, and of course, the maladministration that we currently have will work in our favor. We will win the next election. Now, I'm not just saying it, we will work very hard to win the next presidential election.
You know, as to Randolph, permit me, the last two governorship election that was held was the one in Edo. Some would say, apart from any allegation of irregularities that was there, that the PDP didn't play his game well. That they had, the government of Obaseki, who was the leader of the party in the state at the time, had too many problems, too many fights, too many quarrels. He couldn't close the gap. And that in Ondo State, that maybe you are not that there. Have you learned any lesson going into 2026? Because that's the next gubernatorial election.
We have learned our lessons. But again, let me say that some of the opinions that formed your question today are not really correct. It remains the opinions of those that were making it. Obaseki was governor in Edo. There is no how you be governor that will not ruffle some feathers, except you are not working as governor, except you are not development focused. If you are development focused, you must ruffle some feathers. You must annoy some headaches who may be profiteering from an existing situation that you think is not in favor of development. Yes, Obaseki did that in Edo, but it does not mean that was enough to make the PDP lose in Edo. In Ondo State, we have PDP. The Ondo people actually decided and wanted a PDP government. The PDP to win that election, but the wholesale bribery came in, and the rigging itself is part of the wholesale bribery that they did. The rigging that the prosecutor itself is what we are challenging today. Once we are in tribunal, you will get to know what went into the Ondo election.
All right.
And we only say that politicians and political parties must play by the rule. The APC does not, and it is not good for our nation. We as a people must begin to take decisions, very hard decisions, against parties who do not respect us, who do not respect our franchise, who rape us in every manner and make life difficult for us. Thank you very much.
All right. You said the APC. That's a very big statement there. Does not play by the rules. But one would say...
I thought you said you were running now. But go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, just to have, a follow-up to that. You said the APC doesn't play by the rules. One would say the same APC have been in power now for almost 10 years. And the PDP have won some states. You have numerous senators, numerous House of Rep members, and you have sitting governors under the election that was done by INEC under the APC. How comes when the PDP loses, is the APC problem? When they win, is democracy?
No, don't say that. The things we won, positions we won, were won during a general election and not during off-cycle election. The off-cycle elections is a shock for criminally minded people of party.
Ademola Adeleke won at off-cycle election 2022, isn't it?
Don't forget that before then, I was the zonal public secretary of the party then. Ademola Adeleke won in Osun and was not allowed to become governor. You know what they did? When we won that election then, they now said they are going to declare a supplementary election.
You're talking about 2018?
That's right. I was in Osun State through that period. They now said, okay, that because there are some outstanding votes that blah 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 that can make the difference. They now declared a supplementary election. But in the first election, Ademola Adeleke won. So they now went to during the supplementary election. They killed in Ife area. They did all there is to do, compromise the election. That is criminality of the APC that Nigerians must begin to stand up against. It is time we begin to say no to all this.
Former zonal publicity secretary of the PDP in the Southwest, and of course a PDP chieftain, bearing his mind on the state of the People's Democratic Party, which prides itself as part of the people, but have been having it very rough. He has said that they will, rise from the abyss. Mr. Ayo Fadaka, good morning, and thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good morning to you, and thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. That will be the conversation for now.
Yeah.
And it's about democracy. Let everyone take care of their business.
Of their business, right?
Exactly. We'll go on this quick break. When we return, the program will continue. Stay with us.